Hi, everyone. Pastor Kevin here. I want to introduce my guest and my friend. This is Dr. Reginald Bowden. Dr. Bowden has Gap Medical is his practice here in the Apopka, Florida area. Great doctor, great practice, and also glad that he's my friend and part of our leadership here at the church for a number of years. He just is a leader, and so I would always appreciate all that he does. I wanted to have him come for a few minutes. We've done this before, but with COVID being what it is in our world and the stirring up of the Delta variant, I thought that we could take just a few minutes and re-talk medically about what people can do to protect themselves and their families. So let me just ask a couple things. First of all, just talk about what you're seeing in the world and in the community from a medical standpoint for a second, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Okay, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me, giving me an opportunity. But I thought it was important that we go ahead and readdress it because, like you said, we're going into a different phase of the pandemic right now. That's actually more aggressive than the first phase. So that's what I was really concerned about. Last week when I reached out to you, we had crossed over 600 and some thousand deaths, which is actually more deaths than the number of soldiers that was killed in the Civil War.
It's incredible.
A 4-year war that we have surpassed in just 2 years. So I really wanted to come and just, address the new Delta variant as opposed to the Alpha variant that was going on before, and also warn about the Lambda, which is now in South Florida. It's coming up from South America. Already we're seeing cases in South Florida. But the biggest concern is that we're starting to see now, and I'm seeing it in my office, is that the emergency rooms are just full.
Right.
The intensive care units are full. I have patients who are going to the emergency room for non-COVID related issues, and they're having trouble being seen. A lot of them are being seen in the waiting room. They're being seen, and once they find out that they don't have COVID or a life-threatening illness, they're being sent back to come back to see me. So we're really getting a large influx of individuals. We're really seeing about 4 times the number of patients that we normally see. So my colleagues who are in the emergency room, they are really, really burnt out because they're seeing a lot of people coming in now. Like I said, the Delta variant is much more aggressive than the Alpha variant was. So they're actually seeing not only more individuals requiring intensive care, but they're actually seeing more deaths. And their biggest concern is that they're seeing the largest number, majority, 99% of the deaths are occurring in individuals who have not been vaccinated, which is...
So that's not fictional. That is, from a doctor's standpoint, you looking at statistics, that is statistically the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you have over 99% of individuals who are vaccinated, yes, they may get the COVID virus, they may get the illness, but they're not having the life-threatening problems that we're seeing with those who are not vaccinated. And I know it's a touchy issue, so everybody wants, but I just want everybody to really, really pay attention and educate yourself because this particular virus is killing people, younger individuals.
This variant.
This variant. Delta is killing younger individuals. As I mentioned to you, I'm sad, my heart really hurts because last week we had a patient who expired, he passed away, he was 27 years old. But what even extends from that is that his boss, who was 32, has also died, but his boss left a wife with 5 young girls. The oldest girl is like 8, 9 years old, and they don't have a father now, all because of this particular strain of virus. This one is bad, and Lambda is going to be, if not just as bad, worse. So when I say you're looking at a virus that has killed over 600,000 people in the United States alone. No, it's millions worldwide, but in the United States alone, and that's more than the worst war that our country has ever seen. We lost, and it's just mind-boggling. It's just, like I said, it hurts me.
So remind people what they can do, what they need to do as a personal, for themselves, to protect themselves, what they need to do.
Awesome. It's funny because, the big thing now is we're getting back to recommending that people wear masks. We tried to do without that, but what we found is that the Delta variant actually produces more viral particles in the nasal passage than the Alpha did. So it's much more contagious, much more easier spread. So we have to do something to block it being passed from the nose, the respiratory system, to individuals. So that comes from wearing barriers, protecting yourself, covering your nose, your eyes, everything that the virus can enter through the body. The other thing is that you want to make sure you keep your hands clean. You want to make sure that, it's not as, we're finding that it's not as contagious from surfaces as we initially thought, but it still is. It's just not as contagious. So you still want to clean your surfaces with a Clorox solution or one of the solutions that are approved for the COVID vaccine. You want to make sure that you're getting plenty of rest. You want to make sure that you're eating healthy. You want to make sure that, you're just respecting.
So again, it's not just one thing, it's a conglomerate of things that really help, right?
But yes, and then I missed the most important thing, as I've mentioned it, but I just want to make sure that, the medical community, we all are, 96% of the medical physicians in the country are vaccinated, 96%, and our families. Just from my personal standpoint, my daughter, she has allergies like you wouldn't believe, life-threatening allergies.
Right.
Life-threatening. And we worried about getting her vaccinated. So she's at that age where I had to let her make the decision. Initially, she was afraid because of the allergies, but now she came to me and said, Dad, I really need to get vaccinated. And she did. And she did well. So
great, that's awesome.
So I can't overexpress how important it is. How it is to, again, to be vaccinated. Make sure you educate yourself, not from other individuals.
So that's a really good point that you just made. So if somebody wanted to study the real facts, where should they go? Because obviously, social media and news stations are ripe with opinions about stuff. If people really want to go to the source, do you have a suggestion of somewhere they could read about things before they make the decision?
Absolutely. The biggest suggestion, we recommend the CDC, but what I find is that the CDC trails behind at times, behind what the actual recommendations are. I personally follow EVMS Medical Center, which is Eastern Virginia Medical Center, where I actually trained. I follow their infectious disease experts, and they put out a bulletin every month. The other thing that I recommend is that if you like YouTube, you're in social media, Loyola Maola, they really have it's usually called the top 10 things that are related to whether it's the COVID virus or what do you do when you get the COVID virus, but they really, really give great automations and for visual learners, and those are what you want. You want to get it from the medical experts who are in the field actually treating
really
the
good.
COVID. So that's what you want to look for.
Well, let me just say, anything else, as it relates to health or care or consideration of others that you see as a doctor as it relates to this crisis that you want to just encourage the people in that we've not said?
Well, you just said it. The biggest thing is if you feel that you're healthy enough, and I thought I was when I got it, but if you feel that you're healthy enough and you don't need the vaccine, you got to think about that other person that, you want to make sure you look out for them, because when you do get the COVID, even if you weren't vaccinated, you're still going to use the resources at the hospital, which can prevent that person, quick example, who had a stroke and they need to get care, but the waiting room, there's no rooms in the emergency room for them to get the care. So you're going to put other people in jeopardy, by that fact. So, be considerate of others, just be considerate.
There was a person in our church that had a heart issue 3 or 4 weeks ago, and a heart issue.
Yeah.
Concerned that there was heart damage, heart attack, something. They went 48 hours in the emergency room before they could be seen.
Yeah.
Normally that would be taken right back.
Right away. That's the emergency, life-threatening emergency.
They had 48 hours before they could admit them back to the emergency room to be seen. They sat in the foyer for 2 days with heart issues.
Yes.
So understand that what you're saying is true, that what it's doing to the other resources.
Absolutely. And we're not even counting the deaths that are a result of lack of access due to the resources being exhausted by the COVID.
So again, this is not to put further divide or for you to be upset or angry at me pastorally. It's not fear. I don't have a spirit of fear, but God did give me wisdom, and we're doing everything we can to press forward and preach faith in Christ and use wisdom. You know, I mean, look, if God uses medical doctors, which I believe He does, to bring healing, to bring repair, so that the Holy Spirit can bring healing, if that's the method that God chooses, awesome. I just want us to be healthy and well and protected, and so I encourage you just to consider it. And if you don't agree, I understand. I'm not upset. I just wanted to have our friend and a doctor come in and speak to it and tell you what he's seeing. He is a trusted part of our community. He's a trusted voice, spiritually. He's a spirit-filled, loves Jesus doctor. And so I thought, here's a great person to speak to what's going on. And so all I can do is just present you with this. And he's given you the places that you can go and check if you want to check the facts. I mean, social media is not the place to get your facts. Go to somebody that has got the real information. And look, if you can't do the vaccine, then wear a mask. I mean, look, somebody said this to me. Masks aren't effective. Well, there's a reason that when you do surgery on me, you put a mask on.
Absolutely. And that's why I ask a lot of times when people will say, well, I don't see why you wear a mask. Well, I said, you wouldn't want me to do surgery on you if I didn't wear a mask, because all the bacteria in my nasal patch would breathe out into your wound. Same thing happens here.
So there's a reason that they put gloves on and a mask on to do surgery on you. So again, it's not just one thing. It's total prevention in a bunch of different areas. And so, again, it's just information to get you updated. We are seeing a spike in this, and I understand that we're weary from the battle. It's been 18 months now, and I understand that people feel like we take one step forward and 10 steps backwards, and so as a result, they're weary and upset and angry. But we still need to care for one another and take all the precautions we can. Any final things before we close?
Well, I mean, like you said, one of the things, we talked about this the first time we did this, but this is the first time I've ever recommended a vaccine within the first 5 to 10 years that it has been developed. I know the technology is safe. It's been around since the 80s when it comes to mRNA. But the thing is that I prayed and I fasted prior to making my recommendations. So I challenge everybody to do that. I mean, if you have not done that and you're not led by the Spirit, then I recommend that you pray, you fast, and you get led by the Spirit before you make your final decision.
So look, here's a doctor, Spirit-filled. I prayed, I fasted, I'm smart. I've got a medical degree. I have a practice in this city. He's been practicing medicine 30 years now. Very, very educated, very, very smart. On top of that, knows the Lord, Spirit-filled. He said, I fasted and prayed. So I just hope you listened to his recommendations today. We did, and we're going to just lead in that way. And I just speak a blessing over you today. And again, Doc, thank you so much for, number one, taking time away from, I know you're exhausted seeing people at this point, but thank you for getting dressed up and coming and taking time on an afternoon to come and us tape this and away from your family and your practice to share with people.
Again, thank you for having me.
All right. Well, listen, let this be a blessing to you, and we just bless Dr. Bowden and his family, and just pray that this helps you and gives you some resources, and it'll help you as you move forward. So blessings to you.